Good evening everyone, it's Paulie. My apologies once again on the late stream. It is a little bit late. I will try and schedule these earlier, but better late than never. So let me just start by thanking you all again for all of your continued support. Without your support, your feedback, I'd have nothing to vlog about, nothing to talk about. So I do appreciate it, and it's also good being able to chat to a couple of you that, hey Corbin, how you doing? I apologise for not getting back to you, but Adam is possibly going to schedule a session next week, so we'll chat tomorrow about it. But yeah, thank you all again for watching. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the ADF. This week in Australia there was an incident in Tasmania where the ADF was required to help out, and just what they're doing, there are some amazing people, and really they're there behind the scenes. They're not taking any credit. They obviously don't get as paid as well as some of the professionals that they're filling in for, yet their duty and the passion and the dedication that they show to this country is absolutely astonishing. You know, we all can sleep safe at night because of these amazing people. So I mention this because I've got a friend who's currently serving, Samson Bythosin. So thank you, Samson. So thank you all again, and I hope you've all had a great Sunday. So we're going to actually talk about a topic that was raised by Donna, one of my viewers on Facebook. Auntie Donna, thank you so much. She wanted to know what my favourite anime movies were. Now, I'm not sure if all of my audience is aware of what anime is, but anime is essentially, it's short for animated movies, and it's a particular style that is made in Japan, where it's extremely illustrated. The characters are very theatrical, and there's often a lot of, I guess, not fantasy, but it's a very creative worlds that they create. So there are some cult classic films and a couple of my favourites and shows, and there's a lot of new ones that have come out that I never really got into. So let me apologise to all the fans of anime films that I don't mention. It's not that I don't like them, it's just I haven't got around to seeing them. So first off, I'm going to start with I guess the one that got me into it all, which is Astro Boy. Not sure if you're aware of Astro Boy there, but Astro Boy was actually done back in the 60s, 1963 through to 1965. It's about a young robotic boy, and of course it's aimed at the youth market, who's got awesome sets of superpowers, battles evil villains twice his size, and it's just a really fantastic TV series, family friendly. Astro Boy is the first one that sort of got me into anime. Next, now some may say that this isn't really anime, but I like to think that this series borrowed a lot of style cues, and I think was actually done by a Japanese animation team, and that's the Warner Brothers Batman the Animated Series. Now, this was unlike any other cartoon at the time. It really isn't, while it is for children, it's more of an adult's cartoon, and it's got a lot of dark themes. It's gritty, and this was at a time when, you know, the good guys always win and everything's bright and colourful, but this was real and just growing up watching this, it gave you a different idea of what a superhero could be, and maybe Batman isn't a good guy after all, you know. So Batman the Animated Series, now that was from 1993 I think through to 1995. A lot of good seasons, and actually that animation team then went on to do a full animated movie, which The Killing the Joker, I can't, it's actually the storyline behind Batman versus Superman. So I encourage you to watch that. It's done by the same design team. Next is a huge favourite of mine. Now, one thing that is synonymous with anime is, I guess, mechs, or what do they call these big mechanised robots. You may have seen recently 2 universities, one in Japan, one in America, built these big exoskeleton robots, and the fantasy and the mechs that come from anime are absolutely phenomenal. So Neon Genesis Evangelion is a TV series that ran for about 2 or 3 years, and in this the Earth is confronted by a set of monsters, much like Pacific Rim, in the sense, and this is way before, in the sense that these are otherworldly creatures from another dimension, and we develop big exoskeleton suits that are, I guess, piloted by 2 pilots that have a some sort of symbiotic connection using the alien technology. They're able to connect and move this big robot, much again like Pacific Rim, and it's just a really cool tech sci-fi angle. As you can tell, I'm sort of into my sci-fi, as you saw from my top 10 movie list. If you haven't seen that vlog, go watch that. So Neon Genesis Evangelion, they've made a number of movies since. It's been redone, remastered, but the original TV series is still the best. One of the features I liked about this movie was, normally you get, when the good guys versus the bad guys, the bad guys always have some sort of hindrance, or they've got one hand tied behind their back, and the good guys always have unlimited ammo, or they're bulletproof, or some sort of force shield. Well, in this, the suits they wear, I think, only have a certain amount of charge time, so they have to charge them up during battles. Of course, when they have to battle 2 of these angels, as they're called, that come from the other dimension, they get their asses kicked. So, there's all sorts of... it's a lot more realistic. So Neon Genesis, that's a great one. Now, once again, going back to the sci-fi theme, Robotech. This was a very short series. There's only 3 seasons. It was all created in 1985, released over a couple of seasons. And Robotech is once again similar to Neon Genesis, where they've got these mechs, but their robot sort of suits are styled on late 80s American military hardware, so F-15 jets that can turn into these stand-up exoskeletons that can fight the oncoming aliens. Now, these aliens, funnily enough, they're humanoid in shape, but they're about 40 feet tall. And in the story, the line is that we originally came from them. One of their ships crash landed here, and we in Hawaii, and we learned all their tech. And when they came to fight, when they came to invade Earth, the ship came to life, and they ended up just saving the Earth. And very cool story. Not so much for an older audience, more for a younger audience. But yeah, they had a number of spin-offs and movies and whatnot. So anyways, yeah. So Robotech next. Now this is a classic. Before the movie with Scarlett Johansson, this movie revolutionized anime. It broke through in the US market in a large way, and it's once again a sci-fi theme. If you don't know about Ghost in the Shell, I don't want to spoil it for you, because you need to either watch the anime or the movie. It's a great plot, great story, very futuristic, possibly something that could happen in the near future. But this was revolutionary once again for its time. It integrated the hand-drawn animation and some computer animations. It was just absolutely aesthetically a treat for the eye. So it was fantastic. You can still watch it today in all its glory. It is a fantastic movie, still very relevant. Not necessarily for under 15 children, just to let you know that one. And lastly, now some may say that this isn't anime, but I like to think that while the animators weren't a Japanese team, they did draw a lot of inspiration from Japanese anime. And now Waltz with Bashir is a very, very interesting... Oh, let me go back here. So it goes back to the issues in Lebanon back in 1982. Now I won't get too far into it, but there was a conflict in Lebanon between Syria, the Christians, the Israelis, and the Lebanese Muslims as well, and unfortunately it sort of split the country in three. It was a terrible time for such a beautiful place and beautiful people. A lot of Lebanese immigrants actually came to Australia after this period because of the fighting and the war, and it was so fierce. There's an actual phrase which used to be quicker than a brick builder in Beirut, which would suggest that 1 week all the buildings would be demolished, and then the next week the brick builders would be back up and the skyline would be back to normal. Yeah, once again, Lebanese people are beautiful, and this is just a beautiful story, animated story telling, giving some insight as to what happened. I'm not going to get too far into the politics on it, but definitely something worth watching. Now, there are some other movies which I haven't mentioned on the list, which sort of didn't make my top 5, but they're still fantastic movies. Now, of course, the young generation's going to go Pokemon and all the rest, but I'm going to have to go for One Punch Man. One Punch Man was really unique. It's clever, it's humorous, it's very creative, and yeah, so One Punch Man's another good one. Now Naruto I haven't seen, but that's got a huge following. Cowboy Bebop is probably more my speed in the sense that it's an older anime. Once again, something worth watching. And lastly, Fullmetal Alchemist, first in the series. So they're a lot older, I know. They're not as current as some people would know. But listen, if you know another great anime that I maybe haven't seen or that you love, please comment below, because I love all anime. I just haven't had time to watch them all. Once again, thank you all for joining me. I'll leave the movies at the bottom in the description section once the video is published. And pretty much I just want to say thank you all again for watching. Thank you for your lovely comments, supports, likes, reshares, and all the rest. May you all have a wonderful week. As always, be kind, be safe, be well, and most of all, be awesome. Peace out, everyone.